Hey, it's the Hawker Sisters, the Real15 Podcast. This time it is story time. Z talks about where I helped a young lady in distress. Did I put myself in danger? Was this a trauma response?
Hey
Let's talk about
everybody!
it.
Hey y'all, it's the Hawkins sisters.
We are back.
We are back.
So we did recently, which you all know, whoever has been keeping up with us, that we did an episode or podcast on sexual trauma. I just gotta take a deep breath.
You couldn't even get it out.
And you know what? I wanted to say too, before we start out, because we're doing a part 2 right now, and we're going to incorporate some other things. My sister shared but didn't share with me whatever it is that she's going to say. So I'm kind of anticipating it, whatever it is that she got over here. But I wanted to do a trigger warning, because a lot of times, like, that's, you know, the stuff that we are sharing and have shared and the stuff that we have gone through. We know that what I was thinking today, Kia, is that we are voices of people who are voiceless. And that some people may feel free after this to speak, and some people may feel like, I couldn't tell that. So we want to be careful with our voices, because we believe that they mean a lot, and we know that we want to make sure that we represent everybody, and that we do it carefully, and we do it with consideration, and we do it with love. So trigger warning for this here video. So we'll start with that right there.
And trigger warning, because we might be cutting onions, because even when I was editing the video and watching it back, I got emotional. So you might get emotional watching it. So there's another trigger warning. So I have a little story time. I had a peculiar day yesterday. I had a really good day yesterday. I had a bomb day yesterday, but I had a peculiar time too. So my sister and I went to the Tequila Tacos concert. So we went to that concert, and so my sister left.
I just wanted to watch Rick Ross.
She wanted to see Rick Ross, right? I just wanted to see Rick Ross. So she saw Rick Ross. She went on about her way. My homegirl Ashley Brewer came to kick it with me, and so I stayed for the duration. So I was leaving. So me and Ashley parted ways. She was going to her car, because we were parked in different areas. So she went to her car in her direction. I went to my car my direction. So I'm by myself. So I'm walking. Now our brother, our baby brother, he had left out before me, but I caught up with him. But then I went ahead of him. I went on ahead of him and was getting onto my car because my feet hurt and I'm ready to go. So I see these little girls. There's 3 little girls from Atlanta. They rappers. They know this little girl going in. And I stopped. I said, "Can I record y'all?" Because I'm just a recorder now. So I done recorded them, got the info, everything. Went on by my way. I'm walking. So this girl behind me, she, "Excuse me." And I'm like, and I don't know what the one, but I answered. And she said, did she ask me, did I have an Uber or something? Asked about an Uber. I said, no, I drove one of my car. Could you mind giving me a ride? Could you give me a ride? And she give me her sob story, what was going on with her. Her man left her, told her to leave. Now this girl, let me give you some context. This girl's 22 years old. She moved here from Detroit, Michigan, to meet up and be with this 34-year-old man, right? So she's been up here a few months. She has nobody here. So she's telling me her story. Now y'all know there be a lot of sex trafficking and stuff going on, and y'all know they're sending a woman.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking.
But listen, baby, you know we sisters. They are sending a woman in distress to come and groom you into feeling bad and feeling emotions for her. Right?
Yeah.
And I told that girl, I said, I don't know if you trying to sex traffic me. Because I'm just that blunt, y'all. You just can smoke me. I'm that blunt. I'm that blunt. I said, I don't know if you trying to sex traffic me, girl. I'm sorry. Like, I hear you, baby, but I'm sorry. So she kept walking with me, y'all. And for whatever reason, because I'm very spiritual, I feel things, right? I felt she was safe. I felt she was safe. I felt her distress. I felt it. So, against my better judgment, I gave her distress. So we get to her place where she going, because she put it on the GPS. And we get there. Then she said, Well, I don't have a key. Well, I don't give a damn because I done done what I was doing with you, boo. I done done what I was doing with you, ma'am.
Why did
I
you
hugged her
have
and
a
I get out the
key?
car because he had the key. Apparently, he must have had the key.
Oh,
He had the key, but I was done with that service though. At that point, like
I don't blame
because
you.
listen, I felt okay to bring you home, but I'm not sticking around here. I don't know what to tell you. I told her you better kick the window in and kick in the door, sit on the porch. I'm going to depart. This girl said, "Can I have your number in case if an emergency or something happens with me?" She has no one here. She has nobody. And she ran into me. I was her savior for the night. I was her lifeline, I guess. And so she asked me for my number, and I gave her my number, my real number. And I didn't put my real name, but I did put my real number. I put it under Z because I felt like this girl don't have nobody. But I do feel like if this girl called me, would I really come? Because I don't know what you up to. I still have that in the back of my sex traffic in the back of my mind, but nothing happened. I was safe. Everything was okay. I don't know what happened with her. And I could follow up with her to see if she's okay because I kind of want to. But that was really a moment of what do you do? You know, in a situation when a woman needs help and they're in distress. And then you have all of these things because of these sexual predators. We still go back to sexual predators. I know we talk about sexual trauma, but I want to talk about sexual predators too. That exists because of sexual predators that thought in my head that she might be trying to sex traffic me. It exists because it exists, but it also exists because of these sexual predators. I wouldn't have thought that if these folks were doing that.
You know what, Kia? Let me tell you something. I was in the shower and I always get all kinds of ideas and thoughts in the shower.
Me too, in the bathroom.
And what I was thinking about is trauma to you is trauma on you, right? And so, you know, you see it in people picking relationships, like this young lady with this old man. Like she was, you said she was 22?
She's 22.
And he
She's
was
younger
30.
than my oldest.
And he was 35?
34.
34? So, I mean, yeah, no, to me that's older. Like his brain is fully developed. His frontal lobe is fully developed. You know, she's still developing. That girl is young. So trauma to you, trauma on you. So you have relationships, you know, women who pick really, really bad relationships. Either they're trying to make up for something that they didn't have in their life, like a dad.
Like the dad. Most times it is the dad.
Yeah.
That is what it is. Ain't no most times. It do be the dad.
Yeah.
It is the dad.
Yeah.
So, and sometimes it's not because the dad wasn't in the house. Because he could have been right up in there and not been there.
Yeah.
Emotionally.
And not been present.
So if he wasn't there emotionally, then you did not have him, ma'am. Sir. He didn't have him. He just was there.
Yeah. So you see, like you just said, you see women who are, you know, looking for love in all the wrong places, they say, or looking to replace something that they didn't have, fill a void. Then you have women who overeat. I bet you if you polled or surveyed women who are overweight or have struggled with their weight, you will probably most likely see some kind of trauma in them, or something that has happened to them that is traumatic. They've been exposed to it. So you have, you know, even people who are hoarders.
All of that stuff is from trauma.
Yeah.
It's from trying to be safe.
Yeah.
It's what it really boils down to is that since a kid, it's childhood trauma, we are always trying to be safe. And we are in fight, flight, or freeze all the time. And we easily trigger when we are not healing and growing to heal those wounds. And if you don't know they exist and don't have awareness, then
you just don't know. And like we talked about last time, like, you know, I had thoughts and I shared those, like, you know, feeling like I am a failure. Not feelings of I'm a feeling like I am that, right? Struggling with my weight my whole entire life. You know, just not feeling or always trying to have a success. So I would say, you know, that I do feel I'm happy that you are safe. Number one, Kia.
Because I thought all of them motherfuckers up anyway. So I thought about that.
Don't care how much bullets you got in your bubble gum in your hand.
I know.
These mugs is For real.
I would say I absolutely kind of did. Not kind of, I did. Sacrifice myself. I put myself in a dangerous situation to help somebody, and sometimes we do that.
And let me tell you, I think that's a trauma response too. I don't care. I feel like when you are trying to rescue people, or you put yourself.
Well, I wasn't trying to. She just came to me.
Now I know that you. I know you. I know you not. Y'all, I know that you is not, that you was out here like with a cape on, Kia. I know you weren't out there with a cape on talking about, I'm here to rescue all you who need rescued. I know that. What I'm saying is that I think that what a lot of women do, and people in general, even men, because we haven't even discussed trauma with men, but like that when you have that rescuing type behavior, like you get a partner that always needs rescue. You in a situation you always want to be the one to come to the rescue. I think that's
like that kind of. I'm kind of like that.
But I think that's a trauma.
That could have been the attachment for her that drew her to me. I think safety drew her to me because I'm safe. I think that trauma. I think trauma attached drew her to me too. Absolutely, yes. And so, hey, just out of the blue, she don't know me. This girl from Michigan. And she's behind me too.
And she could have very well felt like you were safe. And
I was recording those girls. Remember I did say I stopped. And I was recording those girls and I was affirming them girls. I'm like, I love y'all, I love this and this and that. And I got done with them and I came with them by my business. And so maybe her seeing that display made her say, maybe I'll ask her.
And you know what, Kia? I do believe that we know salt from sugar. I'm gonna tell you.
And butter from margarine.
Right. And so there is no, like, that's not a big deal. What I'm saying is like, I'm using that situation to say that there's a lot of people who will get themselves in trouble because they are trying to rescue themselves in rescuing somebody else.
I got you.
And I think that that's a trauma response. So a lot of times I think that we think, oh, I'm going to fix this little pup over here. And I know I got in relationships like that for that. I believe now that I think about it, like the majority of the relationships that I was in, I was a rescuer.
I believe you because I got into a friendship like that and it was like a template, like they didn't have no friends. And I set out like, well, I'm going to be the friend and bring them out. And that mug like to kill me. I could have left them the hell in that house. The hell?
Y'all, I'm telling y'all, I want to go somewhere and be a comedian.
I should have left them in that cocoon. But I'm this to me and my trauma. And then they traumatized the hell out of me.
And that's what happens. It's like you
sometimes you're trying to help folks. Or sometimes you were trying to have people, you'll be trying to rub off on them, but some of their stuff will rub off on you.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was starting to pick up some of that negative mess. I was.
It's more so about trying to rescue people who have struggled and had traumatic events, that we are trying to rescue the part of ourselves that needed rescue. When we get in those relationships with those people, like, I can do this all over again, but it's not something that you think about. Like, you're not running around.
With this person, when they told me like that, they just in the house and they wanted to be, and I was like, no, they don't. I should have minded my goddamn business, but I learned to. Life done taught me to mind my business. The last night was an exception. I did make an exception for this girl because in the spirit I felt she was.
You know what? And after you grow, of course you could do stuff like that. But you still, these days,
I was a mess.
It's practical to be careful because people do that. They use kids.
Yep. Now I was thinking like she just rolled up on me like, hey. And I'm thinking like, what's this devil sending to my light? The dim. I was like, no ma'am. Sex trafficker, groomer. Oh, that's what she want, but I feel bad for you. And she young too, so I really had a little soft spot for her. And and I got a soft spot just for women, period, because I'm just, and that's what's crazy because of the things that happened to me. Because of me not being safe. Let's go back into that because we're kind of getting away from it. Because of us not being safe, I'm feeling for her. Yeah. And I put myself in an unsafe situation because of that.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's so many things. It's like, you know, when you learn a lesson, that lesson can teach other people, but it's not appropriate for everyday life. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like everyday life, there's always exceptions to the rule. I mean, you know, so that was an exception to the rule. But like Kia said, you know, she felt like she might, you know, maybe she was putting herself in an unsafe space. right? Trying to take care of somebody else instead of being mindful of herself and making sure she was safe. I think that was so interesting because I was like ready to go way before, even though I love me some Rick Ross, but like I was ready to go, and I was like, "Where is Ashley and where is Miss Brewer?" Because I wanted to make sure that my sister had somebody there with her, and then I could go home.
And speaking of her, so thank goodness because see, we had just parted ways, right? And so she had called me, but my phone was in my car, my purse, on silence. And so I'm dealing with this girl. I'm not even thinking about that, right? I'm distracted. And so I'm driving and she calls me. Thank God. She calls me. So now I do got somebody now. Yeah. I got a lifeline. I got somebody on it. So I really felt safe too. So then I'm talking to her and I'm telling her what's going on or whatever, you know, because she's like, why ain't you call me? You know, I done text you. Like, so, you know, I did have her on the line. So I did have that as a safety net.
Yeah.
And so she could have, you know what I mean, helped me if I was, you know, distressed my own self.
Yeah.
And I'd have ran them motherfuckers down with that compass. I'm Cat's granddaughter. Cat kicks butt and throw the key. But it didn't happen like that. Let me quit because I'm very dramatic, y'all. I told y'all gonna meet me. I told y'all. I'm very dramatic. I'm a mess. A good mess, though. And a mess in progress.
Let me tell you something. She is a comedian, is what she is. But yeah, so I think that, you know, a lot of times like I'm looking at a bee, y'all. The bee just flying past here. But anyway, you know, a lot of times we do disrupt our own safety and our own comfort for the comfort of other people. But I think it's more so to get everything back that we got taken. So like if I do this, if I'm making somebody else comfortable, I can be comfortable. If I'm making somebody else safe, I can be safe. That's not logical, but it is a part of, I think, a trauma response. Like, you know, I want to make sure that I am the thing that I didn't have.
Okay. And yeah, and I definitely that. And even like at my job, like I'm big on safety. I'm big on that. Like I feel like everybody should be safe. Yeah. Everybody should be safe. And so that is definitely a trauma response for me. I'd admit that is for me.
Yeah. And that'll be
listen to therapy, y'all. Therapy. Let's bring it out. We saw y'all last night. Bring it out.
Listen, y'all, but yeah, so I'm ready to talk about I would have had to stay there all night if I'd got the car.
I was ready to go too, though. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I was like, listen, Linda, or Tip, I'm ready. And I had to get a second.
Yeah. So, but anyway, y'all, we don't want to, you know, distract from our topic, but we definitely do feel like, you know, you have been through a lot. We have been through a lot. And we are just now in a process of processing our whole life and like the effects of the impact of what, you know, being sexually assaulted, raped. And then there's some people who have been like molested and things like that. We have yet to talk about that. We haven't experienced anything like that, but we know people who have, you know, and so I know that experiencing any kind of abuse, any kind of traumatic event, not to wear that word out, but those things have strong impact. So take a look and see, like, what do you feel like you might do to the excess for everybody else, to the neglect of yourself as a result of what you've been through?
That's good. You might say that again.
If I could, what do you do? What do you do to the excess for other people, to the neglect of yourself as a result of the trauma that happened to you? Because remember, trauma to you is trauma on you. So you will see yourself giving and pouring to the depletion of yourself. And then you are building somebody up, and we end up with narcissists, we end up in codependent relationships, we end up in battered or domestic violence relationships, we end up in just relationships that just aren't, there's no reciprocity in a friendships, it just ain't no good. You know, women, one of our cousins in a weird friendship with a girl who had her somewhat kidnapped, I think. Do you remember that?
Girl, hell no. No.
You don't? Well, we'll talk about it afterwards. But yeah, she was on a leash. somewhere, and not a literal leash, but a proverbial leash. She was on a leash. Like this girl had her mind.
Oh my God.
And the family was like, that's what she's doing. So you as soon as I tell you, you're gonna be like, oh,
well, I'm gonna give it to you now then.
right?
Back on here.
But yeah, so we want to know if you can think about that and let us know. Like, if you feel comfortable to talk about it, inbox us, comment, all of that stuff. Become a part of our group.
And follow our page.
Yeah.
And subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes. And like us. And we'll probably end up doing part 3, I think.
We're going to do part 3, 4, and I'm sure it's going to be many because this conversation, we didn't really get into it in here. So I think we should just go into it right in the next one.
Yeah.
Because I want to talk about some experiences that I remember when we ended the last one.
Mm-hmm.
I had this story time, but I got some story time as far as it's concerned. It's either attempted rape.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that I was telling. I was beginning to tell you some stories about it after we ended that episode.
Yeah, well, we ended up talking more.
You and I did, but I want to share.
Yeah.
I want to share it with them, but not. I want to share it, but I wouldn't do a different shit.
Yeah. So we want to know, and there's some men who have been through some things too.
Right. Oh yeah, we don't talk about that because it's like it's only women, but men can get raped too. Yeah. Men have been raped. I know
a man who did.
Me too.
Yeah.
So but they're not allowed to talk about it. And not got raped by a man, either by a woman.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, got raped.
An older woman.
I know got raped by a woman.
Older woman.
She was younger.
Well, she was older. So yeah, listen, Linda. Yes. So I'm not gonna tell people business, but yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll tell my own.
And you know what, Kia? That's what I was thinking about today too. Like, what some of our testimony or some of our stories involve other people's business, and that would stop me from saying anything about the other traumas that I have endured. Like, that'll stop me from saying anything about that.
Well, you shouldn't have put me in that position. So
That's
if I ever
true.
had to write a book or whatever, I'm not shielding you. You didn't shield me. You didn't shield my innocence. You didn't shield nothing. So why would I shield you? I bet I don't.
Well, I feel like, yes, I do. I love what you just said. I feel like
you held me down literally and proverbially.
That's the person two's story too.
No, ma'am.
That's their story too, is what I'm saying. They have a story where they were victimized. I just so happen to be a part of their victimization.
Right.
And that is a part of their story. It affected me.
Right.
But that part is their story. So that's what would stop me from saying anything.
Mm.
And what's interesting is because I had to bring those things up in therapy, and I didn't know how bad that affected me. Because I thought only my rape was an actual trauma.
Well, only reason I think that in certain cases that they need to be divorced so they can't do it to nobody else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like in my case, the one that actually raped me, he's deceased. So,
yeah.
There's nothing to speak about.
Yeah.
But these other attempting mugs is alive and well. And I will tell their name anytime I talk about it. But when I talk about it on here, I will not do that because I don't want to have no lawsuits against me or anything like that. That's the only reason I'm not going to tell you. But ask me in person and I'm telling you who they was. I bet I'll tell you who they was. So you can steer clear of them. But hopefully they done turn into men because they were boys then. Hopefully they're men now and that they ain't got that spirit in them. Hopefully I don't know. But hell, they won't be around me.
Yeah, because I was 14 and the guy that raped me was 14. So,
this stuff was old.
This man is married, got kids, they grown, So I was thinking about that today. And I was thinking about like how I just never talked to him. And I was wondering about like being validated. Like, do I feel validated in that? And then I thought to myself, like, I feel like I am. Like, I know that happens to me. Even if that person was to tell me today, which they wouldn't have the audience to tell me nothing. But, like, even if they were to tell me today, like, I didn't do that to you. Yes, you did. Like, you held me down.
Like, you really think strong. They would admit to it?
No.
Anyway. So, of course, that would be the response. I didn't.
Yeah. But I still feel validated.
Because nobody wants to own they wrong. Nobody wants to own anything negative about themselves, period. That's why people have so much trouble growing, because you got to hear bad things about you. You got to learn some bad things about you to grow, to look at them and hear those things. So that's why people have trouble growing.
You know what? And that's going to segue into a whole different conversation, because I'm going to tell you, just yesterday being out with people made me feel some kind of way about myself. And I was thinking, I thought I was an extrovert. I thought I was like this friendly, you know, and I'm like, I wasn't that way. Like, what was going on there? And so I would say that, you know, like as I'm dealing though with things, I think that that's another thing that's kind of affected me or impacted me, like who I am and how I am, because I feel like there's some kind of redefinition that has to happen, and I'm in a place right now where I'm fragile. And I mean, that's just the God's honest truth. I don't know no other way to say it, and I don't think I've ever been fragile in my life.
Girl, I know. I can really relate, and they're kind of earth shattering, because you don't want to. It makes you feel weak. Yeah, if you will, and that's something I ain't never wanted to be attached to, because it's how I was raised. It's how I was raised. Like, so that's it makes you feel weak. So when you feel like that, when you need help, you won't ask for help.
Oh my God,
you won't reach out for none. So then people think you're okay. I was just telling Aisha, we were on the phone, and I was just telling her how I know I'm probably always been one to consider like the strong friend, the one that's strong. Not that I don't have strong friends, because all my friends are strong, but I know that I'm considered a strong friend. And so when you're the strong friend, and people probably don't think you need you straight, because you strong, right? But I'm not always strong. I got all kinds of stuff going that I don't speak on, and I may not, you know what I'm saying, bring to you, because I may just feel like you can't help me, or or I'm one that deals on my own. I don't bring anybody else.
And I think that,
so you may not know I'm going through something, so you might think I'm neglecting you or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You know.
Or I know, speaking for myself about you, I might think, oh, she's all right. Like, she's okay.
And
or
most times I ain't. Or
right.
I deal on my own.
But I'm not thinking that you have, and I apologize for that too, but I feel the same way. I feel like nobody checking for me. Like nobody is asking.
I said
how I'm doing.
I said that to go into this. You might be feeling like that too and have that going on for you, and I don't know, because I'm in my own for whatever I'm off in. You might have going over there, and I know that's going on because I'm off of my own over here. We ain't even communicating about these things, so that's what that is too. We don't communicate those things. We just assume.
Yeah, I mean that has to be it, because like we are so, like we was raised where, like, I mean, when I tell y'all that I just be thinking about this stuff all day, it consumes me sometimes.
Really?
Like today it was consuming, and probably because I knew that we were going to be talking about it. But I do feel like we need it out. Like I don't, because I think that we've had to be, like, I hate being considered the strong person. I hate it. It makes me mad. But like, I'm happy that I can be strong. But I hate it at the same time. It's like,
it's almost an unrealistic expectation of me.
Because I always got to be strong, and I hate that. Like,
you always got to put on the strong front.
Yeah.
That's not that you always got to put on the front of strong. I know that's for me. I always have to make sure I'm straight. You good? Yeah.
I know. I mean, and I want to say no. I want to say leave me alone. I don't know. Yeah. Do you really think it's pride?
That pride attached to trauma too.
I would say so.
That ego and all that stuff
be attached
to trauma too. So yeah, it's in there. It's in there.
I would have to agree. I mean, I think that it's just so hard to come away from that, especially when you were raised like that way. And I don't feel like mom and dad just did that. I think that that's what came out of how we were raised and what we experienced throughout life. Like, I think that that's what came out of it. I was listening to this pastor today. He's long passed away, and I actually think he is a legit man of the Most High. But he was talking about, victim. It was a psychological term. It was about people being victims, and he was talking about how people kind of get into a state of victimhood. And I can't remember exactly what it was, but when he started talking, I could see some things in myself. Like, but he said that it comes out of your desire to control. And what is that? Your desire to be safe. If I don't deem this here to be safe, we got to change it, turn around,
quickly.
and flip it.
Now, order.
And you think that that's a strength, but it's really a it's weakness.
I know.
So, y'all, we're going to talk about all of this next time because we got to go because we got to do a live on the check-in and see how
our weight loss check-in.
Yeah.
So who doing the weight loss? Is y'all doing the weight loss? Join the weight loss challenge. It is free. It's a free event, and we're just pretty much supporting one another. That's all we're doing. And we meet on Sundays live to go over how we did through the week and our challenges, our victories, and our goals for the following week. So if you want to join, come on. We all need some support.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
y'all.
You are welcome to join.
Yeah. So until next time, y'all, we'll be back. We're talking more about trauma on and on and on and different forms of abuse.
Yeah.
So we're not just gonna talk about sexual abuse. We talk about physical abuse too.
All of it. All of it.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank y'all for being with us. We love y'all.
We love y'all. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, I'm ready. This is going to be the best one just because, honey. This is going to be the best one. Thank you for watching the Real15 Podcast. And tune in to our YouTube channel, _Real15 for more content.